What's up, everyone? Today we have a Toro Recycler. It's an older one, has a Tecumseh engine on it, and obviously it doesn't start. That's a given. However, what is kind of a wild card on this one is every single wheel has the worst case of shakes ever. And if I remember correctly, I think it's this wheel also likes to make crunchy noises. That's usually not a good thing. Crunchy noises should come from breakfast cereals, not wheels. At least not these wheels. So we are going to look at a couple things. First, I think it's going to be easier for us to kind of look at the front wheel, and then we'll do the same thing to both sides because both sides are doing the exact same thing. And it's pretty, I want to say common, but it happens. Like over time, things get worn. So we'll fix that. Then we'll see if the back wheels are messed up. Actually, you know what? If it is messed up, this is kind of trash. I don't really need to fix anything. So we'll do the back wheels first. I'm glad I thought of that. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I have it propped up on a block down there, which I released a welding video on. If you ever want to learn how to weld, make blocks. It's good practice, and you can use them. Let's take this off. This hopefully isn't too nasty in here. That came off pretty easily. The gear seems okay. It's a little play, but nothing bad. I mean, it's actually fairly clean for how old it is. Usually these are just chocked up full of just junk. I'm going to put the other side up on the block too so we can spin this. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen because the balances machine is just not going to allow us. So we are going to have to do without. There's a clip on here we'll want to take off. Assuming it's not frozen on there. It's a very particular clip. Doing very particular things. I'm going to struggle with that real quick. Yep, that clip is completely just seized on there. So what I wanted to see is if I can hear the clicking of the little gear in there. Not gear, it's like this little piece that sits on the spring that kind of goes in these little grooves on this gear. And I can. I mean, it's what it is. The main important thing though, it's not dirty. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add just a little bit of lubrication. I generally don't like to lube these up because it's just a magnet for dirt. But given our circumstance, I don't think it's that big of an issue. And we are going to wipe off the excess. And look. You can hear it. Now let's see if this also shakes back and forth. It is not. So that's good. We want to put that back on. We need our cover. There's nothing more aggravating about this than putting it back together and realizing you forgot your cover. Okay, maybe there's a few things more aggravating. But how about this wheel? See, that part I don't like. It's like that washer's too big. Is there 2 washers here? No, it's all one. Is there something here that we're not seeing? No. All that seems fine. Let's try this again. If it was that, oh, nope. Didn't get it started. I know what you're thinking. What the actual... Okay, I think it's on there now. Maybe the plastic is just getting in the way. That could be it right there. Someone took this off. Just didn't put it back on right. Yeah, I just don't like any of that. It shouldn't wiggle that much. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find one that will fit over here and not be too big for the interior, and see if that helps us out any at all. So without a washer on, excuse me, with a washer on, still was doing the exact same thing. Took this off to see if that was going to help. Put it on as tight as I did before, and look. It still moves very good. Has a little bit of play, but not all that much. I mean, that's an acceptable amount, especially for something this age. Thinking the plastic is causing there to be a space, so I'm going to see if I can't work that on. Might just be putting it on wrong this entire time, or it could be just causing a real big problem. Okay, so discovery time. It moves just fine. Very little wobble. The plastic is not a problem. This is the washer I put in there before. It's not in there now. But there is one key difference I did. This was the old tire or wheel. I do believe the center is just worn down, and no matter how much, it's just going to wiggle. So we would either have to shim this up, which I don't really want to do, especially since I see this, and while I don't think that's normal, I think it actually is broken. So it's worn out, it's broken, so new wheel. That one goes where it needs to go. Spins freely, moves the other wheel. So that's that. So unfortunately, that was our problem with the side wheel, or the rear wheel. The good news is this is pretty much the same vintage, I guess is the word, so it looks like it should belong here. Like, it's not brand new, it's not like sparkly white. So that's good. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other one, because I think the other one's exactly the same problem. If not, then it just doesn't need to be replaced. I mean, the tread on both of them were okay. Not great, but okay. But that's just what happens. Sometimes they get worn out. And that wiggling is definitely a sign of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the other one prepared and looked at just like I did this one, and we'll look at the front. Kind of ran into a problem. Problem was that my other wheel doesn't have this gear. It has everything else except it doesn't have that gear. I don't know how that happened. That's still hot. It has these little push pins. They're not screws. They just have these pieces. Yeah, they might screw in. No, I don't think so. I think you just push them in. But anyway, it's really hard to take them out. So what we end up doing is taking some MAP gas, melting the plastic, taking a good, decent pair of course, just kind of wiggle it out. Maybe a little hotter. See if we just pull on the gear, how much it will just come out. Remember, it's already broken. Can't really break it more. And the gear is metal. Okay, that one's pretty good. Let's work on this one. It smells like crayons. Never could understand if that was a sign of a good plastic or bad plastic. Judging from whatever I've seen before, it's probably a sign of bad plastic. Don't want to damage the teeth. Maybe a screwdriver will assist us. We got it up far enough. Here we go. That's one. How's this one turning out? There we go. Okay, we have our gear. So, I'm going to clean it up, throw that away, and put the pins back in, clean up the pins, all that, put the wheel on. You know the story. I would say the rear ones are probably a tad bit more important to fix, but yeah, who knows. And then all of a sudden I saw something. Let's get the impact out. I think I realized why my wheel didn't have a gear in it, because they come like that. The front ones just don't have the gear. So I must have used the last one with the gear. I don't know. I might take the gear off the other one, to be honest, and put it on some of the other ones I have, or just keep it. But I don't think that is the problem, because when I was looking at it, yeah. I don't know if this is just loose, which it very well could be. Is this also at 1/2 inch? It is. We can go grab a wrench. We have a wrench on the nut behind it. Let's see if it just has to be tightened. That's me losing the grip on the wrench, but it wasn't really moving. Yeah, there's just a whole lot of play in there. So that we need for the wheel, so we can't use anything like that. Let's put the wrench back on and see. I can put the wrench back on. Oh, come on. You were doing it so good before. There we go. These are actually pretty heavy duty little brackets. Definitely a lot different than if you were going to be doing this on like a Craftsman or something. That is for sure. So that also just comes right out. Let's just put it together and see what we have to do. We have this here, and we have this, and we have this. It's a lock washer, of course it is. That's not really going to help because we don't know what this is. We have to take the whole bracket off. What I'm thinking is I'm just going to go over on the grinder. I'm going to make this about 1/8 of an inch shorter. And if I ruin it, then I'll just weld like a washer to it. Before I do any of that, I just want to see what would happen if I just put a washer on it anyway. So let's put it all together, except this side is going to have a washer, like so. So I don't really want to mess up anything on the other side. Just making this thicker, essentially. Okay. Come on. Oh, whoops. I did not put it right back in the right spot. Okay, I'm gonna put it back right. Couple developments. I looked on the other side, and this is not there. This is the one that came out exactly like this. Now if you notice, this is not flat. I don't know if this is just bent or if it's actually a spring washer, but it's bent on the going in. So when you put it on, you need to put it so the bent side's out, like this. And when you do that, it kind of takes up the space, kind of allows it to flex a little bit. When you do that, look what happens. It works. There's no additional washers. In fact, I even took one out. So I think that was our problem. To verify this, why don't we put the wheel back on and see what it looks like. I mean, I'm 98% sure it's gonna be okay, but safe than sorry, you know? Oh, the other side's undone. A little clip fell off. Spins nice and good. It's not, I mean, there's a little wobble, but that's just the wheel. In fact, I might just put that back in there. Let's see what that does. Pretty sure it's going to make it so when you push the wheel, it's going to be super hard, but let's find out. Well, no, not really. That's tight too. Pushes it. That's a perfect, acceptable amount of play. especially considering the age. So I'm going to do the other side, and we'll be done with this wheel problem we have. So this is completely dry. And I'm not going to really show this part because, well, I've shown it 1,000 times. But I don't clean Tecumseh carbs. I replace them. This is like $9. And it's just, I mean, it's a Tecumseh. I mean, I don't want to sound negative because they're great motors, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the carbs. The carbs are total trash. And it's a Tecumseh. So I'm not going to really clean anything on there. I pulled the cable and it has compression. The recoil is a tad sticky, so I think I might show you on there how to remove and kind of service that. But in addition to that, I'm just going to replace it. I'm not going to, like I said, film that. It's just easier. It's faster. It's $9. If I was going to buy the parts for it, ooh, it's a little low and dirty. But anyway, if I was going to buy the parts for it, I mean, it would just cost too much anyway. So I don't. So I'm going to go ahead, going to get this taken care of. At least that moves. I mean, it's dirty, but it's not super dirty. The important thing I will mention is knowing what hole to put the linkage. So I'm going to take note of that, get it installed, and we'll be back. There we go. Got all that done. There's one more over here. It's missing. Yep. These are considered non-serviceable. You're not supposed to take them apart. Supposed to. Can. It's not supposed to. Oh, that's why. Maybe a tad more. In here too. And the other side. Yeah. Okay with that. Let's see if all that work went for nothing. 1, 2, 3. Whew. Tad bit on the smoky side. Okay. Well, there you have it. Everything should be good to go. Everything seems to be running. Adjusted the personal pace cable a little bit. It seems to be fine. Needed to do an oil change, do the blade, I already did the plug, air filter, all that. I'm able to run outside, able to burn off some of that oil. When they sit for a long time, this happens, so I'm not too concerned. But other than that, if you have a Toro Recycler with wheel issues, definitely keep this in mind. The stacking definitely keeps, makes it important, especially for the front wheels. That's just for sure. And the rear ones, they get worn out. I mean, they do a lot of work. So sometimes you can, sometimes you can't save them. So sometimes you just have to get new ones, or like I did, gently used ones. So I'll catch you in the next video. Definitely subscribe. See you later. Catch me on Small Engine 101 on Instagram, and I will. Everyone have a good night.